sure, whether this is this is working or not working. I'll simply give one clear example from the physical world of how that trust translates to digital. I have a car that I just applied brakes on, and it went on to do a skid, and because you've done a bit of drifting in the young days, so you could kind of manage not hitting something, but that immediately meant that the car went right back. There's a whole series of checks that were done. There were maybe some settings that were off that were turned on, and then I still don't trust that car. It's a problem that we will have to solve. We are not there yet. I mean, I'm happy to see and share the notes with Komal and how she's solving in that very important legal space of how that's being solved. But yeah, that's we need to work on that still.
No, that's that's a brilliant take on that. So, yeah, I mean, we understand the risk. Now, we talked about the cost, we talked about the risk, we understand there are certain measures to experience. There's still something unknown about the risk, and we are still trying to decipher that as the space is getting involved. But one common question that I'm trying to probably decipher with my panelists is that now, when a new tech comes, like Rohit mentioned, there's a Google Vivo, which has come up, or probably when we got Claude for the first time, or we got GPT-4 for the first time, or whenever, there is a lot of noise, a lot of LinkedIn hype, starts happening. Everybody is talking. This model is going to break the world, and we are here. We are still talking about the next big thing, a next big model, and everything. So, from this noise, how do you extract a meaningful innovation? How do you measure that? What's the metric? What do you see that this particular tech is probably useful for you? Is it something like probably the return on investment, which is your guidance? Is it probably some scalability aspect, something regulatory compliance, some scalability aspect, some reasons that you look forward to? And adding on to that, one more point I would like to ask is that this 10x improvement that we are talking about, is it one time? Is it going to stay? Right. So that's a viewpoint I want to understand, because we have started incorporating those generative applications in our business use cases, etc. Is it going to go beyond that, and why? So
Sure. So the first part, we look at three major things, because at this point there are so many tools that come up that there is one person in our company just making a list of all the different AI tools we are testing and then shutting them off after a month or so. So it's become like a lot of noise, just like you mentioned. So we look at three major things. One is definitely the ROI piece. Is it increasing the ROI or not? The second thing, is it increasing any sort of customer experience? Is it increasing the customer use case, right? If it's helping that, we're getting better feedback, then yes. And the third point, is it saving our time a lot? So if all these three checks are in place, then we take forward that tool and or tool or the technology, because we use a lot of that with API and our own way of fine tuning and testing. So we definitely, if it does not check these three boxes, then we'll give it a miss. And there are so many tools that come up that create so much noise on different platforms like LinkedIn, Twitter. There's a lot of chirp, but then at the end of the day, when you realize that you have something internally which is better. But yeah, we have these three checks in place. And then when you talk about the other piece, the second piece, will it stay 10x or will it grow 100x? I think that right now we're just at the tip of the iceberg. So I feel there's a lot of innovation still happening. One basic thing we all know is that earlier it was generative AI, now it's going towards AI that can take actions and do stuff, right? So that's the next piece. So that's where another 10x will happen, is what I can see. I can give one quick example. Like, we have an online jewelry store. On that, we used to earlier, whenever we have to launch a new jewelry, we used to have designers design it and then test it on the platform like Facebook. We used to run ads and see if it's working or not. And then we used to test hundreds of products like that and figure out if something is working or not. We used to order it physically, get the product, and all of that. And now, like, we've already made a custom sort of agent for us that's been trained and fine-tuned on a lot of winning pieces of jewelry already, right? So it knows that these kind of jewelry pieces have worked and generated good ROI, right? So it's able to produce jewelry pieces and designs which earlier, if we had a 1% win rate, it's already 10%. And now the next thing I'm seeing is that it will not only make that design, but will also make an ad, put it on Facebook, test it, and give us the result that these are the winning pieces. Just go ahead and get these manufactured and whatnot. So that's what I'm looking at the next push from the generative AI. Right.
Puneet?
Yeah, I think I echo with Rohit on that, that we are just on the tip of the iceberg. So in fact, I was talking to Sarojit earlier before this session, and one of the important points which he highlighted is the data, that how many organizations do have the structured data or data which can be analyzed further, right? So I think that is one of the key challenges, not only with the SME but even with large enterprises as well. And I would say the AI is going to be the new operating system for the organization for sure. While we are just at the starting point, but it is going to be definitely operating system for every organization to operate on, and which will also help in terms of generating the meaningful data as well. While it is not necessary that we are going to get the AI solving all your problems, but even if it is not solving, you get the right data that why it could not solve, and you can apply that data in terms of retraining, relearning. That is going to help a lot in terms of improving the productivity. So we look at the ROI, or I would say the outcome, in four aspects when you talk to any customer. So one is customer able to transform their products and services using AI? Because that is something which is their bread and butter. If they're not able to transform their services or business using AI, possibly it is not impacting daily to them. Second parameter what we look at is the productivity of employees. Are their employees going to be more productive using the AI? And that is where this conversational AI and AI agents are going to play an important role for them. Third parameter what we look at is the customer experience, as Rohit also mentioned. So how we are able to transform their customer experiences, because ultimately customer is the king and customer is the founder of their business. So how we're able to involve, how we're able to solve the customer services problem, customer experiences problem, that is very important. And the last part is the cost saving, which is the operation cost, how we're able to reduce the operation cost. So these are the four parameters which we consider to be make our product, or I would say services, more successful, or I would say we can count the ROI of that services what we offer.
Great point. Harjeet?
I graduated out of MBA in 1998. I believe none of the parameters of selecting a tool have changed since then. We want to lower cost. We evaluate a tool simply in terms of, is this helping me do what I'm doing in lesser cost? I want to improve the value for my customer or customer experience. Incidentally, being one of the very few UX companies in Chandigarh for the last 25 years, that's something that we've seen firsthand. That's not changed. We've seen that. We are looking at building new capabilities in business has always been about that. How do you approach a customer today and say, I can do this job that you're doing, 10x better? Yes, the scale has changed. Komal said 100x. I totally believe that. Probably more. I mean, at this point, we are riding a hype cycle. So whatever's being said, I think we should take it with a grain of salt. A pinch of salt. A grain would be too small. A pinch of salt for sure. But at the same time, this should not, I mean, look at it, 2 years, 2.5 years. I mean, everybody's gotten into the AI world. We are subjecting AI to governance checks, trust issues, performance, cost. I want you to go back 25 years and see which other technology or innovation has actually been subjected to this much. I'm an AWS guy sitting right here, so we always have a problem with costs of AWS, and we want to build agents that help us reduce that cost a bit. But then it is still that it's taken time for technologies to mature and then come to that state where you're doing something fundamentally new. And as of now, from a business perspective, if I'm choosing a tool, it's just a tool. End of the day, what matters is business.
Absolutely, absolutely. Go on.
For us, our customer is our North Star. right? So with 200 global enterprise subscriptions in the last 2 years, we're adding a customer a day. We don't test anything till we have a very, very well defined use case, which multiple customers are asking for. We don't start working on anything. And it's a very clear process that we follow. The use case comes from the customer. The R&D team um, looks at the viability of the new technology with the product development team, which sits in Toronto. We've got about 40 data scientists and AI experts. Their job is to only evaluate new technologies as they come in and then see how that can bring in more value for the client. If that means more efficiency, more cost saving, it can mean more accuracy. These are our three main highlights that we look at. And we don't work on anything, we don't waste time in working on anything new till we know that there is a real demand in the global market. Because what we've also seen is a lot of times customers will talk to our salespeople and say, can you do this for me? And they don't understand what that means. Just a small change can mean like weeks of development time, right? So I think as you grow in the business, as you understand the business, you understand what you need to work on, what you need to say yes to, and what you need to say no to. I totally believe in the 100x of AI because I have seen how when we started working on legal tech, we first thought that the AI will not be able to reason. Then the AI started reasoning. Then we thought the AI will not be able to be creative. Now it's creative, right? The next thing that I'm very excited about is the AI agents, the agentic workflows, where my customer will be able to say, okay, fine, listen, I want to draft a patent application in 20 minutes, and I don't want to give you any inputs beyond these two inputs. Create it for me. So I'll have an AI agent for drafting, I'll have an AI agent for litigation, I'll have an AI agent for whatever. So I think the AI agentic workflows are going to be transformative. We're already working on it, and I think this is going to transform the workflows even faster than what we can imagine.
Great, fantastic. I wish I had one more hour to discuss this, and but I'll try to club one more question because this is extremely important from the perspective of the small medium enterprises. So there is a larger push and initiative towards the Make in India, Digital India, India AI mission, right? And being like a part of a small medium enterprise, it's very difficult to invest in such a heavy infrastructure and think about stars and the moon when we are talking about certain business critical use case to be implemented. How